1 crore that he has agreed to pay. School fees is paid by him. He pays 35,000 to her for the maintenance of the child. Once a week, Saturday, morning to evening, is his visitation time. Whenever, in fact, the child wanted to come back, he puts it as if the mother is calling. It is not so. The father has been fluctuating on and off, not known in what time frame he is ready to pay.
Extremely shocked, surprised, amazed by this last 10 minutes of complete concoction of contempts are pending against her, continuous contempts, and each time it's a warning that the criminal case is pending as against her. Monthly is an interim. Now we are coming to a final settlement. We are paying the son's entire fees. We are willing to take care of all his expenses, plus give her 1 crore despite her earning more than I do. Yet they want a monthly maintenance as an interim order continue, which I find quite absurd and ridiculous to expect. Whether they want to continue with this demand of this monthly or not, or leave it, accept the 1 crore, entire amount we are going to pay in school fees, take care of all his expenses, every single, what more could one want? If I'm supposed to continue to take care of her expenses when she earns more than I do is something we are not able to understand. She's not able to take care, we'll take care of the child. She can hand over custody, Your Lordship.
Plus in this, yes, we did not meet after that to discuss anything further apart from whatever is agreed. Now, what it stands as of now is the 1 crore that he has agreed to pay. But I would like to submit that the respondent has not deviated or changed any of the terms. In fact, it is the petitioner who has been fluctuating from the beginning of the...
No, what is that why is it adjourned to today?
Well, it's, what happened last time was all this while it was a chamber reconciliation. He had agreed to pay 1 crore. First, it was at the one shot. And then after your lordship intervened with the parties, he agreed that within 6 months, first your lordship suggested 3 months, but he agreed within 6 months that 50 lakhs would be cleared. Now 50 lakhs and after 6 months, 50 lakhs. Now regards the 35,000 which he had agreed earlier, now he went back on that. Now what he is telling is he'll bear all the expenses but will not pay 35,000. I even suggested that let an account be created for this 35,000 which he is paying right now. He's as of now paying 35,000 to the child. Let an account be created, not let him not give it to her at all. Put it to her account and let the amount be there. Let them have the cards, use it for the child. At the end of the year, whatever is remaining, an FD can be created in the name of the child, which can be used for his further educational expenses and all of that. After great efforts and after many months, even at the instance of this court, agreed that 35,000, if he is ready to bear all the other expenses, 20,000 will be paid by him, 15,000 she is ready to pay. Now that also is not agreed. In the guise of the settlement talks, the father has been exercising overnight visitation rights. But however, my lords, till now, the child is going to be 11 years. The father never had overnight visitation order from any of the court. The impugn order, even before your lordship, is that he has got 30% of the visitation from morning to evening. As of now, as per the joint memo that they had agreed earlier, school fees is paid by him. He pays 35,000 to her for the maintenance of the child. This is the arrangement. And he, once a week, Saturday, morning to evening, is his visitation time. Now, they should understand one thing, that because of this settlement and the efforts taken by the court or the councils and everything, because it has been going on from 1 year, the father definitely has been able to exercise his visitation rights. And mother has taken Herculean efforts to somehow convince, and whenever in fact the child wanted to come back, he puts it as if the mother is calling. It is not so. The child is of 11-year-old. Very soon he'll turn 11 years. He has a mind of his own. And before granting this 30%, the child was called to the court before the fourth additional family court. And the child explicitly refused to stay overnight. And that is the reason 30% was granted. And your lordship also supposed to have been disposed of on that day, because your lordship did say that the same thing will be affirmed here. And then they started the settlement talks again. The father has been fluctuating on and off. So I do not know the stand of the father as of now, apart from this 1 crore of, I do not know in what time frame he is ready to pay and whether he is ready for this 20,000 per month. Yes. This is all that that is there for discussion in this matter.
Now, in case if all this is not working out, what is the stand of your client?
30% is as it is granted by the family court. Now there is, because of the recent, I would say 2023, there was an incident that happened, and for that, a modification application was filed. Second thing, if the settlement is called off and not happening, let the family court order be affirmed as your lordship had expressed. And let him take from morning to evening every day. We have no issues. And slowly, if he builds a relationship, probably he can file an application again, and that would not be a problem at all. However, I will fairly submit that let that 30% be affirmed by this court. I have no issues.
I'm extremely shocked, surprised, amazed by this last 10 minutes of complete concoction of whatever's transpired. Whatever was agreed upon, we were still holding on that this we would want to complete. And the fact that this Honorable Court has put so much of effort, that is the very purpose that we had even traveled there to state that we don't want that to be disturbed in any manner. This is not to try to utilize this, and as they're trying to make it out to be. In fact, it's quite the contrary, as you had mentioned. We are at a position today where we have absolutely nothing to lose. As I mentioned, Your Lordship, contempts are pending against her, continuous contempts, and each time it's a warning that the next time she would not, criminal cases pending as against her. And Your Lordships have seen both parties in detail. This demand for this monthly also has come subsequently, not as they claim that we had agreed upon. It was never agreed upon, even by the previous bench. Your Lordship, we are still stating that we will comply with whatever directions Your Lordship states. Even now, if Your Lordship states that we have to close the matter, we will close. Absolutely no conditions, Your Lordship. All we are stating that if we have to argue the matter, we will continue to argue. But trying to state that Your Lordship had observed that we will hold this order only and all of that, Your Lordship, that was on whether we would comply going ahead with the agreement or not. So they cannot try to put words into this court's mouth. That's unfair. It's not correct. We will continue to argue this application, whether this order should be sustained or not. And since Your Lordship had already granted so many overnights, and Your Lordship has seen that it has gone off very well, whether that has to continue or not is the issue. Are we willing to abide by the terms and conditions as discussed? We are willing to. But to try to say we were paying anyway a monthly, the monthly is an interim. Now we are coming to a final settlement. We are paying the son's entire fees. We are willing to take care of all his expenses, plus give her 1 crore, despite her earning more than I do. Yet they want a monthly maintenance as an interim order continue, which I find quite absurd and ridiculous to expect. Family court has granted this matters complete. Family court has granted her 25 lakhs alimony. That matter is stayed already. She's not entitled to it. If we argue that matter and argue that she's not entitled to the 25, that will be going. If it is confirmed, all she gets is 25 lakhs. She's not even entitled to that half. She would have to pay the school fees, which I'm now saying I will pay. I'm taking care of all the expenses, which has not been ordered by the court. She changed the school voluntarily. She forgets all of this. She forgets all her admissions she's made in the cross-examination, as a result of which they came scurrying for a settlement. And now they trying to portray it as if we are trying to protract. No, Your Lordship might put me to terms, any terms I'm willing to abide by. This is quite ridiculous to try to make these kind of statements after last occasion in the chambers. They were supposed to see whether they want to continue with this demand of this monthly or not, or leave it, accept the 1 crore, entire amount we are going to pay in school fees, take care of all his expenses, every single. What more could one want? If I'm supposed to continue to take care of her expenses when she earns more than I do, is something we are not able to understand. She's not able to take care, we'll take care of the child. She can hand over custody, Your Lordship. But to now say that I must be punished if I'm not going to settle and pay her that amount of monthly maintenance, and I must be punished by revoking that overnight, which went off very well all along, only because I'm not willing to come to terms of her arm twisting, which I'm not agreeable now. Every single time the child is used as a tool. Your Lordship, if she says that there's a POXO case against him, he's misbehaving with the child, but if you pay me, I will give the child to you. Just doesn't make sense, Your Lordship. He's gone through hell with her, the number of cases, the number of humiliation that he's undergone. Yet he's willing to come and try to settle, and then they come up with this today. Instead of saying, let's come to a settlement and close it. Your Lordship, the Lordship's way, amount of time, post-court hours spent on this, and now today they come and say this. Your Lordship, 1 crore will be paid. I'm undertaking that I'm going to take care of all his expenses. And I'm undertaking that all his school fees till he finishes his education, I will pay. Plus, I'm donating 1 crore for no reason. What more could one be expected to do? I am yet to understand, Your Lordship. And therefore, all I request is if they're willing to accept that, all right. Otherwise, we will argue it right away, Your Lordship.
Even as I speak, I'm sorry, of the settlement, what is going on. Just last week, she received a number of calls from the police and she had to go and take a bail in the court.
We have withheld that case. It
The
is not
father
proceeding.
has filed against her and the school for change of school, which she had got after filing an application in the court, filing of objections by them, arguing. The court passed an order directing the father to give the consent, which did not happen.
Criminal case in that.
Yes, he is filed and she had to take a bail just last week.
She messaged him, and I believe he's messaged her saying, we are holding it off, we are not proceeding.
That is what, not the
Ah,
case.
then what?
No, wait.
She has messaged him, and he's messaged her back.
Why would the police trouble her? Her house and say, "I
Nothing
would
is
arrest."
pressed. They have not pressed,
I
and
can
he has
keep the police
messaged her
here.
back.
I can keep the police here present.
Please keep them. Please keep them present.
I think the truth will come out.
Yes.
All along, we have not deviated from the settlement talks at all.
Hmm.
Whatever your lordship, even now, my lords, we are ready. Whatever he has agreed, we are okay with that. He had agreed for 1 crore at one shot. And in fact, my lords, the first overnight, I have to recall and I have to remind the AOR the call that he had made and what he had said, but I do not want to submit that in the open court. It is not right on my part. I think the court knows what efforts the council has taken. Beyond this, in spite of she having to take the bail, I did tell her, if the matter steers to a settlement, we are always ready for it because there are dozen and more litigations between the parties, and more important than anything, I don't want the child to suffer. I want him to have happy moments with both the parents. He should have a happy childhood, I think.
No, the complete custody of the child is with the mother,
Correct, ma'am.
even by this compromise.
Yes,
And everybody is going to, all of you are going to withdraw all the cases.
yes.
The father will spend the entire school fees, extracurricular and other activities. And he undertakes, as per the compromise, he'll take care of everything.
Okay.
So there should be some contribution from the mother.
Plus, absolutely know this thing. The only difficulty she faces was, as was earlier also she faced during her matrimonial life. Now, if something the child has to enroll, the child can be called and asked, my lords. What happens is, suppose he has to buy, say, a football, my lords, which is costing, say, 5,000. Now, the father will ask 10 questions. Why this football? Why not that? Why here? This store, that store? 10 questions. The child becomes frustrated at that. It's the same difficulty that the mother also faces.
Your Lordship, there
That
can't
is
be a
I'm just-
frustration. I'm
just
sorry.
submitting.
Just 1
minute,
second.
just 1
Last
minute. Let
week
me
itself,
complete.
just 1 second. On this expenses only, last month, 60,000 rupees on a spectacles without asking any questions. Your Lordship, why will he say no to a football? And if I'm undertaking that I'm going to bear all the expenses, it would be a violation of my undertaking. If he wants spectacles for 60,000 rupees and he still gives it to him without any questions, why would he say no to a football? Your Lordship, this is all, if I'm going to undertake, they can even make a list stating that I will undertake to all these expenses anytime he wants. I will sign that also, Your Lordship. These are all excuses to come out of the settlement so that I don't get overnight custody. They are upset that this overnight custody has gone on peacefully for so long. They don't know how to overcome that. And therefore, some unrealistic demands just to scuttle the settlement process. That is all there is now. Child didn't come this Sunday stating exam. We are not complaining, Your Lordship. He said, I will teach her come. He said, no, he's not willing to. We left it. We don't want any unnecessary. If this is the way it has to go about, we will accept. There are times when she will not send, it is okay. We don't want to even make that into a contempt. We are not. But
Why?
we have come about to this far. Why unnecessarily keep coming up with extra demands to try to scuttle the process? so that the overnight is revoked. This is what I have understood from this whole thing.
Well, where was overnight given to revoke? And why is the mother not appreciated even once for the efforts that she takes? The child does not go, the mother is blamed. The child goes, the mother is not appreciated. That is a really sad thing. And what the father has agreed, why is he going back on that? I mean, which party will appreciate if she has to go take a bail, my lords, during settlement talks? Unless I am at the hands of your lordship. I bow to your lordship, whatever the court feels that the mother has to, because right now he is continuing to pay 35,000. I don't see any reason. What is the problem in depositing some amount? Even then, even that I have.
The small distinction which your client is not able to understand is that is pending proceedings. Now the entire
Yes.
proceedings are going to come to an end.
Yes, that's right.
Come to an end. And
That is the
earlier,
reason
both
I
of them
suggested.
earlier, like half of the fees, that issue of changing the school and all,
Yes,
it is
it was by
always
court,
live between
yes.
them. No, leaving that also apart. Now, they say whatever condition you impose with regard to spending of taking care of the expenditure of the child, they are ready. Maybe after everything, after giving divorce to, I mean, after settling everything, maybe he feels that what he is giving is not to his son, but for her. That maybe
No,
is-
that is why I said, let him
They
create an
use
account in the
it.
name of the child. Let him not, now he is giving it to her. Don't
no.
want.
Who will use it if it is in the name of the child also?
Let him use it, my lord. That's what I'm saying.
use it.
Both can use it.
No, that is the reason I said, let an account be created in the name of the child. Let him put 35,000. That is just an interim
And
maintenance.
one more
Probably the
thing
court.
is, one more thing is, as
Yes.
you know,
Huh.
the child is very smart. And any request from him, from his side, if the father is not complying or he is not doing anything, you know what would be the consequences. I don't think
No,
if
so
you
what he
take that
does is,
risk.
as of now, what he does is, he comes running to her and says, I do not want to get into a fight with him. You buy me this. That should not become the norm. That is all, is her fear. That's all, nothing else. Because even she does not want to fight with him. She does not want to get into a verbal
It,
thing
it
with him.
hardly takes 5 minutes for the court to pass order on the merits of it.
That's right, my lord.
Ultimately, both your clients would be.
Again, they would
be
go
the-
back and litigate for a number of years.
Never, it
Correct.
would never, this litigation.
Very
would
true.
never
We have come
end.
this far.
They can
yes.
never be with this peace of mind, and unnecessarily you will, somebody, compromise is that. A compromise is not what will happen on your terms.
Plus, at least the 1 crore which he had agreed to give at one shot, even that is not happening. He's taking 1 year. By now, that 1 crore would have been over, my lords, if he had agreed in Jan
So
2024.
is it that if he is ready to, if he is ready to complete that 1 crore, then this demand of additional money would go from your client if it is made
At one go,
immediately?
my lords?
Ah.
Can I just
Ask.
ask? She is okay, provided everything is in writing about the expenses that he should not go back. She still says, yes, I'll abide by that.
Talk to your client again. I think you should come down to that.
One shot, I think he does not have now. If he had, he would have closed.
Or else
Fifty,
like,
right, actually,
something like 3 months.
Please, Your lordship, the weekend visitation also.
Oh,
As,
the-
as earlier.
The
Oh, she'll
visit,
say, I think
the
by
the
exam
weekend
will be over by-
visitation as per the earlier arrangement shall go on.
Please, obliged.
Grateful, my lord.